You know that feeling, right? You buy a gorgeous, fragrant pot of basil from the supermarket, you bring it home, and then you watch it just sadly wilt away in less than a week. Well, you are definitely not alone. Having fresh herbs right in your kitchen is an absolute game changer. But man, getting there can feel so frustrating. Okay, let's dive in and figure out how to finally get this right. This quote from gardener Shannon Doyle, yeah, it really hits home for a lot of us. I think we've all been there, right? We just assume we don't have a green thumb after a couple of failed attempts. But the truth is, growing herbs is incredibly rewarding, and as we're about to see, it's actually surprisingly easy once you know a few little secrets. I bet it does. But listen, that all too common experience of watching your kitchen herbs die, that's not a reflection of your gardening skills, not at all. It's usually because you started with a plant that was, well, kind of set up for failure. The good news, that is a completely avoidable problem. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to diagnose the common herb tragedy. Then we'll cover 3 super easy ways to get started. After that, we'll get into the golden rules for success, understand why harvesting is actually your best friend, and finally, get you ready to plant your own thriving herb garden. Okay, first things first, let's solve the great mystery of the dying supermarket herb. Why do they look so perfect and lush in the store, but then just give up the ghost the second you get them home? And here it is. This is the big secret. That pot isn't one single healthy plant. Oh no, it's packed with dozens of tiny seedlings, all fighting for their lives, battling for the same small amount of food and water. They're designed to look great for a quick sale and maybe a couple of harvests, but they're basically set up to smother each other in no time. So now that we know the problem, let's get to the fun part, the solutions. Here are 3 incredibly simple, really low-cost ways to get a healthy, long-lasting herb garden started. Our first method actually uses that doomed supermarket herb to your advantage. Yeah, we're going to turn that single purchase into a whole bunch of free plants that actually have a real shot at thriving. Here's how you do it. Just take the herb out of its pot and look at that tangled mess of roots. Now this is the key part. Gently, and I mean gently, start tearing that root ball apart into smaller clumps. You're not hurting it, you're liberating it. Just make sure each new section has some green stuff on top and a good bit of roots. Then just plant each one in its own pot with some fresh soil. You've just saved them. Okay, but what if you want to grow herbs for like $0? This next method is for you. It lets you propagate, which is just a fancy word for creating new plants, from a single cutting. You can get one from a friend's plant or even from a sprig you were about to cook with. It is seriously this simple. Snip about a 4-inch cutting from a young green stem. You don't want the old woody ones. Carefully pull off the leaves from the bottom half of that stem, then just pop it in a glass of water and just wait for the magic to happen. And the really cool part is how fast this all happens. Within about a week, maybe 10 days, you'll start to see these tiny little white roots pop out. By week 2, you'll have a real root system starting to form. And by the 3-week mark, boom, you've got a little plant that's ready to go into its own pot of soil. All right, our third pathway is the most traditional one, but hey, it's a classic for a reason. This is all about picking the right plants from the get-go, the ones that are famously forgiving and practically want to grow for you. These are your all-stars. Chives are incredibly easy. Basil grows like a weed, and herbs like oregano and thyme are super tough. Now, the one huge warning here is for mint. It is so easy to grow that it will aggressively try to take over your entire garden, your lawn, maybe even your neighbor's lawn. So the most important rule is always, always keep mint in its own pot. Seriously. So you've got your plants started. Awesome. Now, let's talk about the golden rules for keeping them happy and healthy, no matter which method you used. If you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. Light is food for your herbs. Most of those amazing culinary herbs, especially the ones from the Mediterranean, like basil and rosemary, they need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sun every single day to get those rich, amazing flavors we love. A sunny windowsill is your absolute best friend. But not all herbs are created equal when it comes to sun. On one side, you've got the total sun worshippers, like basil and thyme. They need that bright, direct light. But on the other hand, you've got plants like mint, chives, and parsley that are way more flexible. They can do just fine with less direct sun, which makes them perfect for spots that maybe only get morning light. Now we need to talk about the #1 killer of potted plants everywhere: too much love.
specifically too much water. It's called root rot, and it happens when the soil just stays soggy all the time. The roots literally can't breathe and they start to decay. It is way more dangerous for your herb than letting it get a little thirsty.
So how do you avoid this terrible fate? It's so simple. Use the finger test. Before you even think about watering, stick your finger about an inch down into the soil. If it feels dry, go ahead. It's time to water. If it feels even a little bit damp, just wait another day. This one test will make sure your plants get exactly what they need right when they need it. I know a lot of new gardeners are scared to cut their herbs. You think you might be hurting the plant, right? Well, the exact opposite is true. Harvesting is absolutely vital. It actually sends a signal to the plant to grow back even stronger and bushier than before. So, the all-important question is, where exactly do you make that snip? A bad cut can slow the plant down, but the right cut will encourage it to become lush and full and amazing. First, let's cover what not to do. Your instinct might be to pluck those big, mature leaves at the bottom of the plant. Don't do it. Resist the urge. Those leaves are the plant's main solar panels. They're capturing most of the energy. If you remove them, you're basically stunting its growth. Instead, what you want to do is always trim from the top. When you snip a stem just above a set of leaves, you're forcing the plant to branch out from that spot. It'll often send out 2 new stems where there used to be just 1. This is the secret to getting a full, bushy herb plant instead of a tall, skinny one. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, from rescuing supermarket plants to the secrets of pruning. Let's put it all together with a quick little cheat sheet to help you decide which herb is perfect for you. This little chart breaks it all down. If you want something that's pretty much indestructible, go for mint or chives. If you've got a super sunny spot and you want results fast, basil is your guy. And if you're the type of person who might, forget to water sometimes, thyme is incredibly drought tolerant. Just use this to match a plant to your home and your personality. And there you have it. You now have all the knowledge you need to avoid those common mistakes and successfully grow your own amazing fresh herbs. You know how to start for free, you know how to give them the right light and water, and you know how to harvest them to make them grow even more. So really the only question left is, which one are you going to plant first?